Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Jaya Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayanti Diye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavatasya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 12, conversation between Maharaj Rahugana and Jada Bharat. Text number 5, 6 onwards. Brahmanuvacha ayam jano nam chalan prithivyam yah parthiva parthiv kasya hetu tasyapi chankhyo raghi gulfajanghan janur madhyor shiro dharansa अंसे अधिदारभि शिबिका च यस्यां सौवीराजेत्य पदेश आसते यस्मिन् भवान् रूढ निजाभिमानो राजास्मि सिन्धुष्वति दुर्मदान्धः. The self-realized Brahman Jadbharat said, among the various material combinations and permutations, there are various forms and earthly transformations. For some reason, these move on the surface of the earth and called palanquin carriers. Those material transformations which do not move are gross material objects like stones. In any case, the material body is made of earth and stone in the form of feet, ankles, calves, knees, thighs, torso, throat, and head. Upon the shoulders is a wooden palanquin, and within the palanquin is a so-called king of Sovir. The body of the king is simply another transformation of earth. But within that body, your lordship is situated and falsely thinking that you are the king of the state of Sovir. Well, that's good enough to burst anybody's bubble. So Jadbharat, and Prabhupada translated, the shloka it says Brahmanuvacha. The Prabhupada translated, the self-realized Brahman, Jadbharat said, self-realized. Because look at the words that he is speaking, not just an ordinary person can speak. He's a self-realized. He's saying all of us are just made of earth, water, fire, air, ether. He didn't say in that way. He just said it's just made of elements, material elements. And some are palanquin carriers and gross material transformations. There are gross and subtle, and then some of them move and some of them they don't move. And it's all material bodies made of earth and stone in the form of feet, ankles, calves, knees, thighs, torso, throat, and head. And on these transformations, there is another person sitting on this transformation, and he's also the transformation, and who says, I'm the king of Sovira, or Maharaj Rahugana. And even in fact, his body is also made of earth and these transformations, and there's a soul inside who falsely thinks that he is the king of Sovira. After analyzing the material bodies of the palanquin carrier and the palanquin passenger, Jadbharat concludes that the real living force is a living entity. The living entity is the offshoot or offspring of Lord Vishnu. Therefore, within this material world, among moving and non-moving things, the real principle is Lord Vishnu. Due to his presence, everything is moving, and there are actions and reactions. One who understands Lord Vishnu as the original cause of everything is to be understood to be perfectly situated in knowledge. Although he was falsely proud of being a king, King Rahugana was not really situated in knowledge. Therefore, he was rebuking the palanquin carriers, including the self-realized Brahman, Jadbharat. This is the first accusation Jadbharat made against a king who was daring to talk to a learned Brahmin from the flimsy ground of ignorance, identifying everything with matter. King Rahugana argued that the living entity is within the body, and that when the body is fatigued, the living entity within must therefore be suffering. It's clearly explained in the following verses that the living entity does not suffer due to the body's fatigue. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti gives an example of a child heavily decorated with ornaments. Although the child's body is very delicate, it does not feel fatigue, nor do the parents think that the ornaments should be taken away. The living entity has nothing to do with the bodily pains and pleasures. These are simply mental concoctions. An intelligent man will find the original cause of everything. Material combinations and permutations may be a matter of fact in worldly dealings, but actually the living force, the soul, has nothing to do with them. Those who are materially upset take care of the body and manufacture Daridra Narayan, poor Narayan. However, it's not a fact that the soul or supersoul becomes poor simply because the body is poor. These are the statements of ignorant people. The soul and supersoul are always apart from bodily pleasure and pain. So Maharaj Rahugana had told Jad Bharat when he was carrying the palanquin and when he was not keeping up pace with the other carriers, and the palanquin was kind of not a smooth ride. It was a rough ride for Maharaj Rahugana. So he told me, maybe you are fatigued, you are very much tired, and that's why you cannot carry. But Jad Bharat was on a different level. Of course, Rahugana Maharaj was satirically saying so because Jad Bharat had just picked up the palanquin with the other carriers. So he was not at all fatigued. But Jad Bharat, now he is going from the body to the soul. He's not at the stage of body, not in the body conception or consciousness. So he is saying the soul is not fatigued when the body is fatigued. And because there's a difference between the soul and the body. And the soul is differently away from the pains and pleasures of the body. It's because of our consciousness. We think we are this body, but still the soul does not get pains or pleasures of the body. It just stays with the mind only. Mind which is also material. If I think that by having a huge house and cars and lots of luxury, I will be happy. This is what the whole world is running around crazily for money, money, money. And because they connect money with happiness, not just they, we also, everybody does that. But that's not really the case. Then all the wealthy people should be really, really, really happy. But they're not. I'm not saying money is the cause of distress. That's not true either. But money is not the cause of happiness. It's a different dealing. Money can give lots of comforts to the body, lots of sense of security. All those things can happen with money. I'm not denying that. Money is important. But if we think money is what is going to make me happy, that's where our equation is wrong. Because the pains and pleasures of the body, pleasure given to the body does not make the soul happy. And if the body has some kind of pain, doesn't mean the soul is in pain. The mind can connect with that, but not the soul. But overall, the whole constitution, body, mind, soul, it's so intricate. Krishna, of course, it's designed by the Supreme Person, Krishna. We design some robot, and now the artificial intelligence is becoming better and better technology, but it's still a technology. The robots are not going to have emotions. But the robot that Krishna has created, now that's a different machinery altogether. The robots are not going to grow from baby to boyhood to adult to youth to old age and then die. The robots are not going to do that. Robots are not going to come together and create another robot. That's not going to happen. Robots don't are not going to cry and feel sad or elated or so many tons and tons of feelings. That's not what's going to happen. Robots are not going to have hair or nails that are going to grow and we have to clip them all once in a while. And robots are not going to get sick that they have to go to the hospital or do different kind of exercises or yogas to remain healthy. This is what Krishna has designed. So who can beat his design? Although it's only a robot, it's only a machine. Yantra arunani mayaya. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. And this machine is so complicated that the soul, although it's separate from the machine, considers itself this machine. And any part of this machine, that's another beauty of Krishna. Any part of this machine, nobody can make it. No scientist in the lab can make even a nose or eye or a hair or anything. They cannot make it in the lab. They can only take it from one place to another and do some surgical grafting. And this body that we have, it's now it's said it is all, it has like blood, urine, stool, and so many things inside the body covered with the skin. And the skin, it's called a bag. Kunape tri dhatu ke. Kunape means a bag of kapha, pitta, and vayu. Fine. But this bag has no seam. There is no like where the skin comes together and it is connected over there. It doesn't have anything like that. Like a zipper or a button or something, there's nothing. That is creation. That is creativity. And on top of it, the robots that we are going to make or we are making, they all look alike. And Krishna's creation. Just the face. Face has what? You can look at the picture behind me. 2 eyes, eyebrows, nose, forehead, hair, cheeks, lips, chin, ears. That's it. And everybody's face is different. Everybody's face is different. 7 billion people right now, and everybody is different and still growing. Yeah, even in this, I mean, mathematically, if you do permutations, combinations, they cannot get us to 7 billion with just these many variants. And when we are in this body, we think that this is me. And that's what King Rahugana made the mistake. He said, I am the king and you are a pelican carrier, and are you tired? Of course, I guess it was his time to get the proper knowledge. So Krishna made all the arrangements. But this is where we have to appreciate the beauty of Krishna, the intelligence. And on top of it, this is just one human being species we are talking. The 8,400,000 species. So much variety. And this variety is only in the material world. Spiritual world is unlimitedly varieties, with unlimited varieties. Can't even conceive of what's there. So, but coming to the point that the soul is still different from this wonderful creation of this body. And this body, whatever the organs are there inside the body and the covering of the body, it's only made of earth, water, fire, air, ether. And the subtle body is made of mind, intelligence, false ego. But this realization has to come in. We are not this body. Shocha nimanstvam adhikashta dinan vishtya nigraya nir anugriho asi janasya goptasmi vikathamano na shobse vridha sabhasu drishtaha. It's a fact, however, that these innocent people carrying a palanquin without payment are certainly suffering due to this injustice. Their condition is very lamentable because you have forcibly engaged them in carrying your palanquin. This proves that you are cruel and unkind, yet due to false prestige, you are thinking that you are protecting the citizens. This is ludicrous. You are such a fool that you could not have been adored as a great man in an assembly of persons advanced in knowledge. Now that is Guru. Guru means heavy. And he's calling King Rahugana, you're a fool. This is ludicrous how you're making these poor people work, carrying you all the way to Kapilashram. This is ludicrous. This is ridiculous what you're doing. And you're saying you're thinking of protecting the citizens? King Rahugana was proud of being king, and he felt that he had the right to control the citizens as he liked. But actually, he was engaging men in carrying his palanquin without payment, and therefore he was causing them trouble without reason. Nonetheless, the king was thinking that he was the protector of the citizens. Actually, the king should be the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For this reason, he is called Naradevata, the Lord among human beings. However, when a king thinks that because he is the head of the state, he can utilize the citizens for his sense gratification, he is in error. Such an attitude is not appreciated by learned scholars. According to Vedic principles, the king should be advised by learned sages, Brahmins, and scholars who advise him according to the injunctions given in the Dharma Shastra. The duty of the king is to follow these instructions. Learned circles do not appreciate the king's utilizing public endeavor for his own benefit. His duty is to give protection to the citizens instead. The king should not become such a rogue that he exploits the citizens for his own benefit. But here the king was making the carriers carry him, and of course, Jad Bharat here says without you're not even gonna pay them. And on top of it, they were going to get punished if they don't do the work properly. So this is not the duty of the king. He should not be utilizing the citizens for his sense gratification. Excuse me, just hang on for a while. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that in Kali Yuga, the heads of the government will be plunderers and thieves. These thieves and plunderers take the money and property of the public by force or connivance, means by cheating them. Therefore, it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, Rajaneer Nigraneya Dasyu Dharma Bhi. As Kali Yuga advances, we can see that these characteristics are already visible. We can certainly imagine how deteriorated human civilization will be by the end of Kali Yuga. Indeed, there will be no longer be a sane man capable of understanding God and our relationship with Him. In other words, human beings will be just like animals. At that time, in order to reform human society, Lord Krishna will come in the form of Kalki Avatar. His business will be to kill all the atheists because ultimately the real protector is Vishnu or Krishna. So because Kali Yuga means all kinds of crazy things are going on, and they'll go on to a greater degree as the Kali Yuga progresses. And there will no longer be a sane man capable of understanding God. That's why towards the end of Kali Yuga, Krishna will come in the form of Kalki Avatar, and his business will be to kill the atheists. No more preaching, no more giving the instructions. He'll come and just kill them all. And then the sages who will be in the forest or on the hills, they will come down and they will usher in Satyuga. Of course, there'll be a transition period, and then the Satyuga will start. The Lord incarnates and sets things in order when things are mismanaged by so-called kings and heads of government. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya. Of course, this takes many years, but the principle is there. When the king or governmental head does not follow the proper principles, nature deals out the punishments in the forms of war, famine, and so forth. Therefore, if the governmental head is not aware of life's goal, he should not take charge of ruling the people. Actually, the supreme proprietor of everything is Lord Vishnu. He is the maintainer of everyone. The king, the father, and the guardian are simply representatives of Lord Vishnu, empowered by him to look after the management and maintain things. It is therefore the duty of the head of the state to maintain the general populace in such a way that people will ultimately know the goal of life. Nate vidu svarthagatim hi Vishnu. Unfortunately, the foolish governmental head and the general populace do not know the ultimate goal of life is to understand and approach Lord Vishnu. Without this knowledge, everyone is in ignorance, and all society is crowded with cheaters and cheated. And this is what is happening now. Who in the world, how many rulers or the prime ministers or presidents or even this is a country, I mean, the local rulers, how many know that our real purpose of life is to serve Krishna? The real purpose of life is to approach Krishna, to serve him, to understand him. So they don't know, and the people who have voted them, they don't know either. So it's all a messed up situation. यदा चितावेव चराचरस्य विदां निष्ठां प्रभवं च नित्यं तन्नामतो अन्यद्व्यवहारमूलं निरूप्यतां सत्क्रियया अनुमेयम्. All of us on the surface of the globe are living entities in different forms. Some of us are moving and some not moving. Excuse me, I don't know what happened today. Sorry about that. All of us on the surface of the globe are living entities in different forms. Some of us are moving and some not moving. All of us come into existence, remain for some time, and annihilated when the bodies again mingle with the earth. We're all simply different transformations of the earth. Different bodies and capacities are simply transformations of the earth that exist in name only. For everything grows out of the earth, and when everything is annihilated, it again mingles with the earth. In other words, we are but dust, and we shall but be dust. Everyone can consider this point. So we are dust, and we're going to mix in the dust at the end of life. So I don't know what we are so proud of, and what do we fight for when we are little above dust. That's all. In the Brahma Sutra, it is said, Tad ananyatvam arambhan shabda dibya. This cosmic manifestation is a mixture of matter and spirit, but the cause is the Supreme Brahman, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Idam hi Vishwam Bhagwan Ivetara. The entire cosmic manifestation is but a transformation of the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But because of illusion, no one can appreciate that God is non-different from the material world. Actually, he is not different, but this material world is simply a transformation of his different energies. There are also other versions of this in the Vedas. Sarvam Kalam Idam Brahma. Matter and spirit are all non-different from the Supreme Brahman, Bhagwan. Lord Shri Krishna confirms this statement in the Bhagavad Gita. The material energy is Krishna's energy, but it is separated from him. The spiritual energy is also his energy, but it is not separated from him. When the material energy is engaged in the service of the Supreme Spirit, so-called material energy is also transformed into spiritual energy. Just as an iron rod becomes fire when placed in contact with the fire. When we can understand by an analytical study that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of all causes, our knowledge is perfect. Simply understanding the transformations of different energies is partial knowledge. We must come to the ultimate cause, Nate Vidu Swarthagatam hi Vishnu. The knowledge of those who are not interested in knowing the original cause of all emanations is never perfect knowledge. There is nothing in the phenomenal world that is not produced by the supreme energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Aromas from the earth are different scents manufactured and used for different purposes, but the original cause is the earth, nothing else. A water pot made of earth can be used to carry water for some time, but ultimately the pot is nothing but earth. Therefore, there is no difference between the pot and its original ingredient, earth. It is simply a different transformation of the energy. So originally the cause or primary ingredient is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the varieties are only byproducts. In the Chandogya Upanishad, it said, if one studies the earth, he naturally understands the byproducts of the earth. The Vedas therefore enjoin Yasmin Vigyate Sarvam Evam Vigyatam Bhavati. If one simply understands the original cause, Krishna, the cause of all causes, then naturally everything else is understood, although it may be presented in different varieties. By understanding the original cause of different varieties, one can understand everything. If we understand Krishna, the original cause of everything, we do not need to separately study the subsidiary varieties. Therefore, from the very beginning, it is said, Satyam Param Dhimahi. One has to concentrate one's understanding on the supreme truth, Krishna or Vasudeva. The word Vasudeva indicates the supreme personality of Godhead, who's the cause of all causes. This is a summary of phenomenal and noumenal philosophy. Phenomenal means material, noumenal is spiritual. The phenomenal world depends on the noumenal existence. Similarly, everything exists by virtue of the potency of the Supreme Lord. Although due to our ignorance, the Supreme Lord is not perceived in everything or anything. So Jad Bharat is further saying we are all simply different transformations of earth. and when we die, the earth or all the five elements, they just merge in the five elements and we carry on. And then we get a new body, different shape and form of earth, five elements. And then again, we just come into picture. And then again, we act different ways, karma, this, that, this dealing, that dealing, affection, emotions, fights, anger, lust, greed, envy, so many things. And again, we leave the earth and the earth merges, and again, we take up another form. And this has been going on. But if we understand the original cause of everything, which is Krishna, just like this example came earlier, that if the pot is there and the pot maker is there and the potter wheel is there, but the potter wheel and the earth and water, all the ingredients cannot make a pot until the pot maker makes them, makes the pot, and takes the earth, mixes the water, moves the potter wheel, and then makes the pot. So similarly, all these ingredients are there, but without Krishna's intervention. And he personally, he doesn't even do anything. It's all his energies that take care of. But ultimately, he is the cause of all causes. So the whole purpose of understanding this whole philosophy, and this is the Sankhya philosophy. This is what Lord Kapil Dev also said, the same things. This is Sankhya philosophy, means analyzing the whole universe, different ingredients, and understanding that everything comes from Krishna. So everything should be utilized in the service of Krishna. It's simple as that. And that is bhakti. So if we understand Krishna, we understand all his creation. But if we try to understand the creation and think we can understand the creator, that's not going to happen. Evam niruktam kshiti shabda vrittam asannidhanat paramanavovye avidyaya manasa kalpitaste yesham samuhena krito vishesha. One may say that varieties arise from the planet Earth itself. However, although the universe may temporarily appear to be truth, it ultimately has no real existence. The Earth was originally created by a combination of atomic particles, but these particles are impermanent. Actually, the atom is not the cause of the universe, although some philosophers think so. It is not a fact that the varieties found in this material world simply result from atomic juxtaposition or combination. Juxtaposition means putting them side by side. So these varieties, they don't come by because the atoms are put side by side. First of all, who put them side by side? In what way, what form? That depends upon the creator. Just like if an artist is there, so artist has different colors. He has the brush, and he has the canvas. He has the stand, and he has the background where he's going to put the canvas on. But still, if the artist does not put all the colors in a particular way, the painting is not going to be made. So similarly, the atoms on their own, they don't come together to form something, to make some um, formation, figure or a body or a different aroma or whatever, colors. It's not just going to happen on its own before without the artist doing it, putting them together. Those who follow the atomic theory think that the protons and electrons of atoms combine in such a way as to bring all material existence into being. However, the scientists fail to discover the cause of atomic existence itself. Under these circumstances, we cannot accept that the atom is the cause of the universe. Such theories are advanced by unintelligent people. According to real intelligence, the real cause of the cosmic manifestation is the Supreme Lord. Janmade Asya Yata. He is the original cause of all creation. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. Krishna is the original cause. Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. Krishna is the cause of atoms, the material energy. So he is the cause of the atoms, he is the cause of the energy, he is cause of time, three modes of nature, and he is the cause of different formations of 8,400,000 species. And he is the cause of annihilation also, maintenance also. The ultimate cause is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and only those in ignorance try to find out other causes by posing different theories. The rest, everything is ignorance. Evam kusham sthulam anur brihad yad asatya sajivam ajiva manyat dravya svabhavashya kala karma namna jayavehi kritam dvitiyam. Since this universe has no real ultimate existence, the things within it, shortness, differences, grossness, skinniness, smallness, bigness, result, cause, living symptoms, and materials are all imagined. They're all parts made of the same substance, earth, but they are named differently. The differences are characterized by the substance, nature, predisposition, time, and activity. You should know that all these are simply mechanical manifestations created by material nature. The temporary manifestations and varieties within this material world are simply creations of material nature under various circumstances. The actions and reactions carried out by the material nature are sometimes accepted as our scientific inventions. Therefore, we want to take credit for them and defy the existence of God. So the actions and reactions carried out by material nature are sometimes accepted as our scientific inventions, just like this gravitation. We all say, oh, Newton discovered gravity. Gravity was always there. Apples were always falling down from the tree on the ground. And gravity is the one that keeps all the planets in the sky floating and moving about in the same axis. But the gravity does not exist on its own. Somebody is there to make sure that the gravitational force is there. Newton did not create gravitational force, but he got the credit, he got the prizes, and theories are there because after for his name. But they always, that's the problem, they always defy or deny the existence of God. God is there to give credit to everybody. Krishna is there to give credit. But we have to be intelligent enough, we have to be grateful enough to first give the credit to God. And everything is created by Him. And we are there, we are here just to explain everything to people, and that's it. And Krishna will be more than happy to give us more than just the credit. This is described in Bhagavad Gita, Ahankar Vimudatma Kartahamitti Manyate. Due to being covered by the illusory external energy, the living entity tries to take credit for the differentiated creations within the material world. Actually, all these are being created automatically by the material force set in motion by the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the ultimate cause is the Supreme Person, as stated in Brahma Samhita. He is the cause of all causes, the ultimate cause. In this regard, Srila Madhvacharya says, actually, the original cause is Lord Vishnu, but out of ignorance, people think that matter is the cause of everything. Things are contemplated on the ephemeral or external platform, but actually, this is not the truth. The actual protector and shelter of everyone is Brahman, the Supreme, not the king. So further Prabhupada says, Lord Vishnu is the resting place of the entire creation. On Brahman, everything is resting. All the universes are resting on the Brahm Jyoti, and all the planets are resting on the universal atmosphere. In each and every planet, there are oceans, hills, estates, and kingdoms, and each planet is giving shelter to so many living entities. They're all standing on the earth of feet and legs, torso and shoulders, but actually everything is resting ultimately on the potencies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he is known ultimately as Sarva Karana Karana, the cause of all causes, cause of all the varieties, cause of all the maintenance of everybody, cause of giving everybody everything they need for their subsistence, everything. It all depends upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But our problem is we don't give him the proper credit. We are not grateful enough. Jnanam Vishuddham Parmatham Ekam Manantaram Tva Bahir Brahma Satyam Pratyak Prashantam Bhagavatsya Shabda Sangyam Yat Vasudevam Kavayo Vadanti. When that is the ultimate truth, the answer is that the non-dual knowledge is the ultimate truth. It is devoid of the contamination of material qualities. It gives us liberation. It is a one without a second, all-pervading and beyond imagination. The first realization of that knowledge is Brahman. Then Paramatma, the Supersoul, is realized by the yogis who try to see him without grievance. This is the second stage of realization. Finally, full realization of the same supreme knowledge is realized in the Supreme Person. All learned scholars describe the Supreme Person as Vasudeva, the cause of Brahman, Paramatma, and others. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said, Yadadvaitam Brahmopanashadi tad api asya tanubha. The impersonal Brahman effulgence of the Absolute Truth consists of the bodily rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is known as Atma and Antaryami, the Super Soul, is but an expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is described as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, complete with all six opulences, is Vasudeva. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is non-different from him. Great learned scholars and philosophers accept this after many, many births. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. The wise man can understand that ultimately Vasudeva, Krishna, is the cause of Brahman and Paramatma, the Super Soul. Thus Vasudeva is Sarva Karana Karanam, the cause of all causes. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. The real Tattva, the Absolute Truth, is Bhagavan. But due to incomplete realization of the Absolute Truth, people sometimes describe the same Vishnu as impersonal Brahman or localized Paramatma. So in the shloka it is said, the first realization is Brahman, then Paramatma, and Bhagavan. But it's not the same. From the very beginning, Srimad Bhagavatam says, Satyam Param Dhimahi. We meditate on the Supreme Truth. The Supreme Truth is explained here as Jnanam Vishuddham Satyam. The Absolute Truth is devoid of material contamination and is transcendental to the material qualities. It gives all spiritual success and liberation from this material world. That Supreme Absolute Truth is Krishna, Vasudeva. There is no difference between Krishna's inner self and outward body. Krishna is Purna, the complete whole. There is no distinction between his body and soul as there is between ours. Sometimes so-called scholars, not knowing the constitutional position of Krishna, mislead people by saying that Krishna within is different from the Krishna without. Means there is a difference between Krishna in and out. It's like we have a soul and a body, they say Krishna has also the same, but that's not the truth. Krishna's body is made of Sat, Chit, and Ananda, and that's what is inside out. Everything is same, Sat, Chit, and Ananda. When Krishna says Man Mana Bhav Madbhakto, so-called scholars advise the reader that it's not the person Krishna to whom we must surrender, but the Krishna within. So-called scholars, Mayavadis, cannot understand Krishna with a poor fund of knowledge. One should therefore approach an authorized person to understand Krishna. The spiritual master has actually seen Krishna, therefore he can explain him properly. Without approaching an authorized person, one cannot understand Krishna. So Prabhupada is saying Krishna is the source of everything, and when we start making progress spiritually, so first we come to the level of Brahm Jyoti, Brahman, then Paramatma, then Bhagavan, the personal Bhagavan. And Krishna, to know Krishna, one has to approach a spiritual master. And who has seen the truth? Jnaninas Tattva Darshina. Because they have seen the truth, they can impart this knowledge unto you. And that's where Prabhupada, he is on a different level when he explains about Krishna, when he explains about the pastimes of Krishna, his abode, his associates, his servants, his devotees, his beauty, his dealings. When Prabhupada explains them, it's just so wonderful because he has seen the truth. And he's just not just seen, he has realized, he sees it. And then he's explaining it to us. That's why it's very, very fortunate to read Prabhupada's purports, Prabhupada's commentaries, and then try to understand what exactly he's trying to say. Text very, very important verse. Rahu gana tat tapsa nayati na chayajya nirvapanat grihadva na chandasa nev jalagni surya vina mahatpad rajo abhishekam. My dear King Rahugana, unless one has the opportunity to smear his entire body with the dust of the lotus feet of great devotees, one cannot realize the absolute truth. One cannot realize the absolute truth simply by observing celibacy, brahmacharya, strictly following the rules and regulations of householder life, leaving home as vanaprastha, accepting sannyas or undergoing severe penances in winter by keeping oneself submerged in water or surrounding oneself in summer by fire and the scorching heat of the sun. There are many other processes to understand the absolute truth, but the absolute truth is only revealed to one who has attained the mercy of a great devotee. So this is the topmost knowledge actually. Actual knowledge of transcendental bliss can be bestowed upon by anyone by a pure devotee. One cannot attain the perfection of spiritual life simply by following the directions of the Vedas. One has to approach a pure devotee. By the grace of such a devotee, one can understand the absolute truth, Krishna, and one's relationship with him. A materialistic person sometimes thinks that simply by executing pious activities or remaining at home, one can understand the absolute truth. That is denied in this verse. Nor can one understand the absolute truth simply by observing the rules and regulations of brahmacharya, celibacy. One only has to serve the pure devotee. That will help one understand the absolute truth without fail. So this is the only way possible. By serving a pure devotee, and of course the shloka says without smearing the dust of the lotus feet of great devotees on his body, one cannot understand. So smearing the dust means, yes, literally it can also be true, but actually it means following the instructions. And when we sincerely try to our best possible, and more than that, when we sincerely try to follow the instructions of pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, then we get the mercy of Prabhupada. Of course, the mercy is always causeless mercy. It's not that because I'm trying to follow or because I am following the instructions to whatever extent, I will get the mercy. No. Mercy is causeless. But we have to do our efforts. We have to put in our best efforts possible. And then when the pure devotee is pleased with our services, he will definitely impart his mercy. So anyway, we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, in the verses, it's mentioned that universe is also not true, or it's like everything is made up of earth, and then earth was linked into the universe, and universe is not right. Can you little more explain on this? It's little confusing here. Like, do not understand actually.
Well, earth means the earth element, earth, water, fire, air, ether. Not the planet Earth that we talk about. So the universe, it has all these ingredients. It has also made of earth, water, fire, air, ether. And when we say the earth element, it actually contains all the other 4 elements also within it. So the whole universe is basically made of these different elements, nothing else. And these are all temporary. And nothing permanent in this.
Prabhuji, this one-liner is very hard to believe in. And somebody, like, we think that we have an existence, and then on the other side we say like it's all illusion. It's not really there. But we do not have that. Human being do not have that capability to think beyond the existence. That it's all illusion. It's not there.
I mean, illusion in the sense it's there. We can see it, we can touch it, but it's temporary.
It's temporary. Okay.
It's not permanent.
This is so heightened knowledge, Prabhuji.
I know.
It's a heightened level of knowledge, really.
In this place of impermanence, we are trying to make a place of permanency. How is it possible? We think whatever I make, it's going to be there forever. Not going to be there forever. Everything is changing.
Absolutely. Agree, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Just like if you follow some YouTube videos, I was watching then, the Ottoman Empire. I was just curious, so I just watched that video. Okay, so it started from Turkey, and they started conquering other lands and this and that. And yeah, they grew for a while. And then, like anything, everything has a limit. And then other people, other kings became stronger, and they started conquering. They started cutting down the Ottoman Empire. And after a while, it was all gone. No Ottoman Empire. Same thing happened with British Empire. Same thing, Mongolian Empire. But Earth is still the same. Okay, they put boundaries here or there. This is my kingdom, that is my kingdom. After a while, that kingdom is gone, that king is gone. And it was given different name. But Earth is still the same. What are we fighting for?
Absolutely.
But these fights go on, claiming this is mine, this is mine, and my name will be there. Where is Napoleon, and where is Alexander the Great? All gone, dead, gone. That's it.
Yeah. It has all become history.
Yeah.
हिस्ट्री भी याद
Much Prabhuji. Yeah, Mataji.
Sorry, क्या कह रहे हैं माता जी?
मैं कह हिस्ट्री भी नहीं याद है अब तो.
हाँ.
बिल्कुल सही. Absolutely.
क्या पढ़ा कुछ नहीं याद, ना 10th का पता है ना 12th का पता है, कुछ नहीं. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Mata, thank you. Thank you all very much. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.